Hi, welcome to Ed Paris TV, and today we're going to talk about the different kinds of muscle fibers. So first we have the type 1 slow twitch red muscle fibers that are responsible for endurance feats. Why are they called slow twitch though? Because they're not as intertwined with the nervous system, so whatever brain commands are sent to those muscle fibers are not sent as efficiently as they are with the other type that I'll discuss a little later. Why are they called red fibers? Because they are so filled with blood all the time that they look red. If you do a biopsy of the muscle tissues, you'll see why one is called red and the other is called white. Speaking of the white one, we'll talk about that one now. The type 2 fast twitch white muscle fibers are responsible for speed, strength, and power. So they're not as intertwined with the cardiovascular system. So they're white because they resemble tendons and ligaments more. They're more intertwined with the nervous system. So they receive signals from the brain and commands from the brain more efficiently than the red muscle fibers do. So endurance athletes are going to focus primarily on the red fibers, while the power, speed, and strength type athletes will focus more on the white fibers. Okay, so bodybuilders, on the other hand, are going to want all of it because they're trying to develop as much mass and as much definition as possible. So they need to train all kinds of ways to develop all the fibers. For myself, as a martial artist, I wouldn't want to do that because right now I'm fine with having 17-inch guns, same as my neck 17 and my calves around 17 inches. And if I have to take them up to 20 to be on stage and compete in bodybuilding, I'm not going to do that because it's going to wreck my trajectory of being able to throw a precise strike. My fluidity, it's just going to add drag to all of my strikes, and I can't afford to do that. So the same might be the case for an endurance athlete. They might not want to do a lot of what I do because it's not going to help them after 20 miles of running to cross the finish line any faster if they're carrying any extra muscle. So depending on what it is that you're trying to go for, whether it's endurance, speed, and power, uh, you're going to have to figure out which one you want more of and train accordingly. The muscle fibers respond differently to different kinds of tension. The red muscle fibers respond to medium to lightweight, but lots of work. Many sets, many repetitions. So we're talking about the repetition range of about 12 to 15, sometimes up to 21, maybe up to 100 reps, with very medium to very lightweight. So, and the frequency will depend on the person because your ability to recover has a lot to do with that, and your diet, also your rest. So endurance athletes can afford to eat more carbohydrates because they're going to be burning a lot more energy for prolonged periods of time. For people who are training for strength and speed, you want to use a repetition range that can be as low as 1 and as high up as maybe 8. Once you get past 8 repetitions until you reach failure, the moment of failure is when you can no longer lift a certain weight up, and that's called failure. You don't want to reach failure all the time, regardless of what repetition range you're in, because then you'll thrash your nervous system and you won't progress anymore. You just want to reach failure once in a while, maybe once or twice a week, or depending on the body part. But anyhow, so the repetition range for people who are going for speed and strength should be around 3 to 5, sometimes up to 8. Over 8, and you start crossing over to the endurance side. So, and the number of sets should be kept pretty low. Not too many sets per body part. All right, so once you've got all this in mind, keep in mind too that you don't want to do a lot of the high impact stuff that a lot of people are doing. There's a lot of gimmicky, trendy things out there right now. People doing all kinds of very high impact things on your joints that are going to wreck the cartilage down the line. It's going to probably mess up the ligaments and the connections between tendons and the bones, and it might throw your spine out of alignment too. I'm seeing a lot of people doing all these crazy pull-ups that there's no real contraction going on there. They're just kind of throwing themselves up the bar, and also I'm seeing all kinds of weird motions that they're doing with a lot of strain on the joints, and it just doesn't make any sense what a lot of these people today are doing. It seems like it's all a big fad and gimmick, I'd rather look back at what people were doing before the drug culture hit the scene. Before the 1960s and 50s, you saw what those people were doing, and it was very sound. And they were doing tremendous work and achieving uh, very good physiques and all of that without any enhancing, like none of the drugs that are available today. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. A lot of the things you're seeing today is just people just following blindly somebody who just came up with a gimmick. And if you really want to have a long-lasting endeavor, then you don't want to destroy your knees and your ligaments. So keep it low impact, but high resistance, high intensity, and consistent. A lot of work. You can't get around it. No matter what physique you want, whether it's the endurance physique or the power strength type physique, it's going to require consistent work. You can't be laying off. Got to keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, chip away until you get what you want. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers everything for now until we get more into depth. I might have some guests with me, people that I've been around or others that are experts in these subjects to talk more in depth about how to develop the different types of fibers. Okay, so I'll catch you later and I'll see you next time here on Ed Paris TV. Please like and subscribe.